It is a beautiful day on the mountain. Oh, but it's very cold. It's very, very cold. So I got like 2 jackets on me. Welcome to Walking in My Faith. My name is Lihle. So today I wasn't necessarily planning on coming up to the mountain. I sort of have a few things that I have to do, but I couldn't work because there's no electricity. Our schedule changed and the electricity is now going during the day between 11 and 1, and today it's worse because it's like 11 till 3. So luckily I did watch this video, old video by Miles Monroe. He was talking about the fact that he was talking about tithing actually, but what I picked up on that video was 10% of your time is not yours, it belongs to God. So 2 hours and 40 minutes I think it is that you have to spend with the word of God, with God, immersing yourself, in anything that has to do with him. So I decided to challenge myself and do that. And I think the fact that on Monday the electricity started going during this time is kind of like God saying, "Hey, I'm helping you with that challenge. Go ahead, dedicate that time to me." So I sit in my room and I read scripture, and then I had a little bit of energy to take a walk. So I walked all the way up the mountain, unplanned. But I've done it before. It's not it's not that big of a deal. I mean, people do it all the time. It's not that impressive when I just walked till here. Yeah. But still, I walked up the mountain today and decided to record. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about the habits and changes that I noticed within the last 3 years that God has worked and has changed in me. So when you're walking this journey, for me it was easy because I wasn't fighting anything. Like I had fully let go. That's like the thing that I recommend you to do is fully let go. Give everything to him. I know it's not easy because you have certain things that you want to do, certain things. I think that's why it was so easy for me. I must start here. Let me say this. Even before that, when people asked me about my future, I honestly didn't know what my future looks like. I never had a set picture of, I see myself in a big house, driving a nice car, a man, and, babies, and I have a career. And it's like, I never necessarily saw that. Like, I couldn't, this is other people's ideas of what futures look like, and then it would piece in my head to say, "See, this is what a future is supposed to look like." But then my future, when I think about it, I don't see myself working for somebody because I always found that working for somebody is very unpleasant. I saw my mom go through it while she was working for SARS. She hated it, and the biggest thing was that she never really got time to spend with us. You know what I mean? There was one incident, even this still breaks her heart, the fact that there was an accident between Nelspruit, on the hilltop between Nelspruit and Barberton, and she couldn't get home on time to pick me up from daycare. The principal had to drop me off, and I spent like, it started raining and I spent like hours outside waiting for her, and she couldn't do anything because she had to wait for the road to be cleared. And the time, like, it was still early 2000s, early 2000s. I know I went on a tangent, but that's the thing. I felt like people who work are forced in situations they don't like. I don't want to be in a situation doing something I don't like doing and all of this. And I had to find a career that I would be happy in, which is why I jumped from so many things. And I think the biggest thing is that I also saw my life as a delay. After high school, I did see my life as a big delay because I repeated matric. I went to go do matric again, SFAPS. For those who know SFAPS, for those who don't know, it's not that big of a deal. Trust me, it's a mindset thing. It's a mind thing. It's the way you choose to look at the time you spent there, or the way you see other people's experiences. But either way, so God worked a lot of things in me that needed to change, my mindset being one of the biggest ones. But I didn't fight him on anything. And I let go of everything because I didn't necessarily have certain tied desires. And now I have desires that I never thought I would have. I still don't see myself working for anybody except now I see myself working for my mom, which actually becomes so much easier because it's like working for myself. Yeah, which is what I'm doing. And I am very happy about that setup. I'm very happy about it. And then I never wanted to have kids. I never wanted to get married. Trust me. Like if you, my mom will tell you guys that bekashumayela ngathi livangeli since she was like 18 years old, never getting married, never having kids, like because all I could see is that married people, especially if you're the woman, there's a lot to deal with, especially culturally, the expectation, the submission. I don't want to submit to nobody. No. And then kids, you kids are even more of a headache. You don't have, really, once you have a child, your life is no longer yours. It is the child's life because every moment is supposed to be dedicated to that, which is obviously a mindset I had based on what I was seeing, based on the environment that I'm in. Everybody grows up in a different environment. And I didn't think that leaving your kids is an option. And it's not, honestly. It is not. The people who choose to that route as an option, kudos for you for having the liver for such things. But I don't think I would have ever had the liver to leave a kid if I had one. And yeah, so, but I knew they cost a lot of money. Your time is no longer yours. You basically 90% of everything you have is theirs. 10% is yours. 90% is theirs. So I didn't want to give up a lot of things. But when I took this journey in that same year, this is why I necessarily like, I feel like fellowship, guys, fellowship, talk to people, talk to the community. You can learn a lot from other people's stories. For me, my friend kept saying to me, while you wait on God, wait on God. You know, why you, okay, I guess this phrase is maybe while you wait for God, wait on God. As in, while you're waiting for him to answer you, to give you what you're asking for, cater to him, serve him. You know, it's like pampering your parents. This is what I tell my Sunday school. See, if you're asking your mom for something, right? And she says, okay, I'll give it to you. But I'm going to behave anjan. You try your best to behave vele. You don't even bother your brother. You make sure your room is clean. You wash the dishes when you're not even asked. Vele. You even make tea for her when she doesn't even ask you. Because you're trying to get this thing that you really, really, really want. And you're putting effort and time into making sure that she sees the effort that you're putting in, that she sees you and that she remembers you. And when she gets to the store and she sees this thing, she'll be like, oh, Gambe, Lihle wants this thing. Let me just get it for her because she's been behaving. It's the same, it's a sort of a similar concept. While you are waiting for God to answer all your questions, because at that point, in 2021, I looked at my life and I had nothing to live for. I wasn't on the brink of killing myself. No, I wasn't suicidal and I wasn't thinking, oh, my life can end and all of that. No, I was just on the brink of, I don't know what's next. And I don't want to do something that's not worthwhile. I don't want to do something, go into work just because people say, just because I need money, just because, you know what I mean? I want to do something with meaning. I want to have a fulfilled life. I want to be fulfilled. I don't want to do anything because now society dictates this is what we're supposed to do. This is not helping me anymore. That's where I was. So I was like, yeah, the only person who has direction, who can give me fulfillment is God. So I'm going to give you all and I'm going to get direction. So what I was waiting on, the questions that I was asking about is, who are you? That was my question. I've heard about this God that people have talked about, but I've never, I have, looking back, yes, there's moments that I can say I've experienced him working in me, but I've never really seen, because sometimes it's easy for us to forget. But I really want to know, I really want to feel, I really want to be like one of those people who testify to say, yeah, vele, vele. You know, that's where I was. And there were so many questions that I was asking, so many things that I was just thinking about that were running through my mind. But most of all, I just wanted to see. And obviously, reading the Bible is where I started. And that's what helped me the most, because I wanted to get to know this God. I wanted to be able, and that's the thing, while I was getting to know God, God was also showing me who I am. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't know if people understand, like, when they say it's your 20s are for you to explore and find yourself. God was showing me who I am because he was highlighting certain things that I didn't really know about myself, that I never thought about. And then he was changing certain habits that I had, oh my word. And the habits you develop yourself that you don't know over time. And the thought processes you think, which is why he cut out a lot of people from my life, is because you spend time with people complaining and putting negative stuff in the atmosphere in the head. You spend time really looking at your life at a negative. If you spend time thinking about the things that you don't have, because the people around you also are complaining about the things they don't have, the things that they wish they had, it's just the mindset. Just be it. You know, if you be yourself in him, if you put yourself fully in him, you realize that some of these things that you were desiring make no sense. You will ask yourself, but why did I want this? What was it going to give me? What was it going to bring me? What was the purpose of this? You know? And then you realize, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Habits that changed for me, a lot of habits did. The way that I thought, I started thinking about my life no longer as a delay. It's like the whole time I was thinking about my life as a delay, about all those things that I've done that are now going to waste. God was like, no, don't worry. I'm gonna use those things. Those things are definitely forming. You needed to go through those things to get to where you are now. You needed to experience the things you experienced to understand what who you are, to understand what you're going through now. You needed all those things. You needed all those doors that you went through, all those trials, all those tests. You needed them. Yes, some of them you failed, but some of them you learned from. That's now the question that you must ask yourself, Futi. What did you learn from all those experiences? What did you take away? Is there anything that you can use now in the future or where you are that can, elevate you or take you to the next thing? And I realized that there's times when I looked at my life like, oh, eskolweni, I kept, like, I wouldn't say failing, nah, but there was always a delay for me to graduate. I finally graduated this year, and it took me pretty much 11 years to graduate. And yeah, guys, my story is it's long and frustrating unnecessarily because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So when I finished matric the first time, the question became, what do you want to do? And I don't know. So it was like, well, go back to school and study something different and see if that pops an interest, right? But it didn't. And at the second time when I took my matric, results, when they came out, there was a mix-up on the system, the government system. We were registered as maths literacy students when we do pure maths. I wasn't the only one. There's like 5 of us. And so when the results came out, we all got incompletes. And by the time I got the results thing figured out and fixed, I had been rejected from every university that I had applied to. So when I was 20, I had to sit that whole year and not go to school, pretty much. Yeah, and that was, yeah. I can think about it as time wasted, but looking back at that year, it was actually a great year for me. It was a great year for me. So I only started university when I was 21. And then by the time I got to the third year, I was exhausted because I still wasn't sure that this is what I wanted to do. And I didn't see the direction of where I was going. And it became frustrating and I became depressed. And that's when I developed my anxiety. Like, so many things happened during the time. I even dropped out. So I never finished the first time. And then the second time around, I went and I did something different again because my parents wouldn't let me just sit and do nothing. I had to go to school. So second time around, I went and I did more creative subjects, which was great. I would have finished record time, but another delay happened. Another delay happened that caused me not to graduate when I was supposed to graduate. And then worse, that you think you still have time to make it before graduation, just finish this thing quickly, get the credits and be done. Well, another delay came because the school cancelled the module that I needed to graduate. They were like, no, we are putting this module on pause for a while we go and redo the curriculum and restructure the module so that we can bring it back and then it's better. So I had to wait a year for them to go do that and then bring it back. And then when they're bringing it back, they're not bringing it back within the first 6 months because it's a short course. So they're bringing it back in the later term. So now it's like spending last year, I spent from July to December in Pretoria finishing that course, right? And it was great. I actually was very, very, very grateful for that experience. God did so many amazing things during that time. I mean, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Like, this is why I don't look at my life as a delay anymore, because when we were studying that module the first time, it was basic English, which is why I didn't want to do it and I wanted to get credited for it. They rejected me for the accreditation, saying, and that's their policy, they could choose to do that, and I accepted it, but for what it was. I was happy that I waited for the revamp, because the revamp, when it came back, it was a totally different thing. It wasn't English anymore. It was a skill I didn't possess, and now I possess that skill. And the class I would have graduated with, they wouldn't have possessed that skill. So it was actually a very great benefit for me. I'm supposed to graduate, actually supposed to graduate this year, which I did actually graduate, but there was another delay in me graduating. Kabanga, it was such a weird thing that happened, and I didn't care. Like, that's the thing, I really didn't care. On my birthday, I got an email from the school saying congratulations on, finishing the course, and they're setting up the graduation. It's going to be in a month and you're invited to come graduate. You just have to fill in these forms to request the space, blah, blah, blah. So I go and enjoy my birthday, right? And then the next week, which is like about 4 or 5 days later, I get a call from the registrar and she says, well, there's been an oversight. Apparently, I'm not graduating because I'm still short a credit. And I'm like, what? I thought we took care of this last year already. And they're like, yeah, they also thought that, but there was a mix up in the system. Apparently there's like a point thing that I didn't do. Gabanga PowerPoint. Had to go back to go do PowerPoint, which was okay, a reliever, because it wasn't a long thing. It was just 2 online tests that I have to take. And then after that, I am done, I graduate. So now it's like, I have to do this before the end of the month, and I have a week before the end of the month. And if I don't do it before the end of the month, it means I'm only going to graduate next year. So I make sure that I do this thing as fast as I can, as quickly as I can. Well, it's PowerPoint, so I knocked it out in like 2 days, although I dragged my time. I took my time, but I knocked it out in like 2 days. And then I got an email saying, yeah, everything had been fixed. I can graduate. I didn't go to my graduation because also after getting that phone call, it just put me in another damper, man. And this was like the last 3 months. This is like something that happened recently. And it put me in another damper so much that I didn't want to go to the graduation. And my cousin was graduating in April. My brother was graduating in May, and I was graduating in June. So all three of these graduations we were gonna go to, but I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling mine. I wasn't feeling it really from the beginning because I'm not that type of person, but I was never gonna go vele because I know vele I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't gonna go, but that made it even more clear and solid for me not to go. Before it was a maybe, maybe not. This time it was like, yeah, I'm not going. I'm not going. And that felt like a delay. But in this last 3 years, God has done so much in my life, has opened so many doors for me that made me feel like, no, girl, you're not this. Don't worry. Everything that you have gone through, it wasn't in vain. Every lesson that you've learned, you're still going to use it to help somebody else. Even the skills that I have, all the skills that my mom has, they are working together and are improving the business, which is a great thing to see. So I know sometimes you feel like you're stagnant, you're stuck, you are in a delay, maybe everything is not going to the way you want. Maybe you should start asking yourself, like, press a reset button. You should ask yourself, see, how do I start over? How do I go back? How do I reset myself, recenter myself? And then ask God for wisdom, guidance, and strength. And He will provide. He will provide. Trust me. And it's like everything you go into after that, it will be a no brainer. Like, I still have challenges, definitely, but I don't worry about anything anymore. Like, even this graduating thing, so chilled about it. So chilled about it. When I got the phone call from the registrar, I was shocked, yes, because I couldn't understand what was happening. But then I remembered, Guti, it was like done from last year. And I was like, yeah, no, this is, and if see with the path that I'm walking now, it's like, yeah, it's great to have a qualification, but forget it, girl, forget it. So I didn't stress that much about it. So guys, okay, there are these ladies here now who are having a nice party. It's a beautiful view. It's a cold day, but a nice view, breezy day. It's actually chilled enough to, chill. So they're enjoying themselves. So if you hear the noise and everything like that, it's just them in the background. Okay, so it was getting too loud and too crowded on the actual mountain where I come from. This is the road when you're going up. Yeah, so they are at that point somewhere. It was getting a little bit loud and crowded. I couldn't film anymore, so I decided to come a little bit down. Well, I'm actually walking now. I'm walking back home, but I didn't want to finish the video the way I did. So I wanted to carry on a little bit talking about the habits that changed, or my mindsets and things that changed in my life. Other things, so I started to look at my life in a positive way rather than thinking about it in a delay. I started to think about my life as, everything that I've gone through was just a way for God to strengthen me, to teach me something new, and I've learned from all of those things, and they've made me better. So that's where the way I've decided to look at my life, and that's the thing that God led me into. Also, your mindset, like the things that you think about. God, one of the biggest thing, He had to take me out of wanting to control the things around me, wanting to control everything, because for me, having control made it easier. But it was like, no, you are not in control, I'm in control. So I learned to give control all the way to God and to accept things the way they are happening. Sometimes even when as a planner, which is something with the youth that I had to let go, when I plan events, I had this expectation, I have this, mind going in of this is what I want to have happen. But what I learned with that is that, firstly, the people who are not organizing, they don't know what was supposed to happen. So if something goes wrong, adapt quickly and fix it as fast as you can and move on from it. If you don't mention it, they don't know if it's missing or not missing, or if it happened or didn't happen or anything like that. So if you can do everything you do it to your best until you cannot do anything else. So if it is literally the last minute and there's nothing else to be done, accept that there's nothing to be done and let the show go the way God wanted it to, because now it's in God's hands. Now it's God's will. Now it's unfolding the way God wanted it to. And if it's not even most, all of the time now I've learned, when I let go of things and they go the way God wants them to, they go without a hitch. They happen exactly the way He wants them to. The people who were supposed to be there were there. The people who were there got touched. The people who were there they benefited. They appreciated. It was all in good spirit. You know what I mean? Nothing bad happened. And even He taught me to let go. I don't have to be in control of everything all the time. I don't have to know the next thing that's going to happen in my life. I don't have to know tomorrow. I just have to learn to enjoy today. And that's one of the things, the biggest things I benefited from, because now I know, see, everything, yeah, which is another thing because of the books I've also been reading that helped me as well, is that you come to an understanding of there's literally nothing you can do. You have no power, especially when other people are involved. You have no power, literally, and you have to let that go. So letting go and forgiveness. Okay, for me, I'm never a person to hold grudges. Forgiveness was easy for me. I never hold grudges because it takes. I've learned this when I was a kid. It takes a lot of effort to remember something that someone did to you yesterday. Now you have to put yourself in the same position, in the same feeling, in the same. So much energy. Aibo. I'm sorry, I can't. That's why I always say the people close to me, if you want me to acknowledge something that I did wrong and you want me to sincerely apologize for it and explain myself sincerely, properly about it, you can't wait to ask me a month later. You can't wait to bring it up time later. You must bring it up at that moment, or if, even a few hours after, I'll still know exactly what was happening in my mindset. But now, 2, 3 days later, I see, this is a lot. My mind is moving forward. I'm not going back. Can't be going backwards. So, vele, forgiveness for me was easy because yeah, and okay, I think maybe the turnaround for me was that I forgive people very easily, but people maybe didn't forgive me. People maybe still had a problem with me, or I should also ask, for forgiveness for stuff that I've done and learn to accept my mistakes or take responsibility for my mistakes when you hurt somebody, that's something else that definitely you need to work on, that I needed to work on, the acknowledgement of other people's feelings, definitely. And then another thing was to be honest, even when it hurts, because I was very much a big liar, and I lied for things. Really, it got to the point where it was so bad that I lied when it doesn't even make sense of why you're lying. Why you didn't even need to lie. So why did you lie? And it's like, yeah, but why did I lie? Yeah. So I stopped lying. I started being brutally honest with everybody and about everything. And one of those things was good. See, you lie because you think it's a white lie. You want to protect somebody's feelings. You're getting yourself out of trouble. You're avoiding an awkward situation. You're avoiding this and that and that and that and the other. But it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. I had to actually talk to my mom about it as well, because sometimes as adults you don't notice it yourself. We'll see when you're lying and you're thinking, it's something small, but then when we pick up on it over the phone, like when we pick up on it as kids and then we lie to you, you mustn't complain because we're learning it from you. Like, it's this easy. It's like my dad calls my mom and asks her if she's in the house because he needs something for her to do, and she has to stand up from where she is and go do something over there, and she doesn't want to. So she'll be like, I'm not in the house, call one of the kids. But she's actually in the house. So now when she calls me and she says to me that I should do something for her and I don't feel like it, then I'm going to do exactly what she did. I'm going to lie and say, no, I'm not in the house, or no, I'm busy with that. Call somebody else to do it. So yeah, if you're around kids and you don't want your kids to be liars, don't lie. So yes, brutal honesty. Also, it was one of those things where I had to decide, Lucy, what is more important in terms of me sparing somebody's feelings. If you feel like the truth is too much, it will hurt them, then don't say anything. Then don't say anything at all, just walk away, which is what I do now. But if you feel like, I know they can learn from the truth, then tell it. And most of the time I learned that people, it's the way you tell them that is the problem. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. So if you can find a delicate way of saying some of the things that you want to say to them that's hard, they have a little bit of a less hard time hearing it. So be honest. So I learned how to be honest even when it hurts, even when it's going to hurt me. I learned how to be honest, and now I am a little bit more honest. But it's every day, man. It's an everyday thing that you have to basically, like, how those habits don't just form overnight. You have to work at them. And obviously discipline, something else that God taught me. One of the ways I learned this discipline was going up this mountain, this hill, Vele, every day, Monday to Friday, raining, cold, whatever. disciplined. I needed to be disciplined and consistent. That's what he taught me. And I enjoyed it because spending time with him wasn't a brainer for me, you know? It was like, I like it. And then, yeah. So now I've developed all these other habits, but also the thing about developing all these other habits is that they've isolated me a little bit. So now I'm trying to come out of the cocoon that I've been in for the last 3 years and make new friends. And I'm trying to find kingdom-based friends. Kingdom-based friends. So wish me luck, guys. I don't have friends. I'm joking. I actually do have friends. I have a couple of very, very good friends that are in the kingdom that help me all the time, especially when I'm feeling low. They pray for me, which is like the friendships that I want from them. Like, I want people to speak positivity in my life. I want them to reassure me that God's at work. Even sometimes when you don't know what to say to your friend and they're going through a bad situation, just reassuring them and not, building on their negative. On not building on their negative, it helps. It helps. So even helping them, sending a phrase from the Bible, sending a scripture for them to read, something that helps you, you don't know, it really, really helps. That's why I'm saying that for me, fellowship, uniting with other people, hearing other people's stories, hearing how God worked in other people's ways, it made me realize that if God did all of these things for these people, there's nothing that he can't do for me. Although it took me a while to start asking for things. And I'm not asking for totally outrageous things, I wouldn't say. I'm still focusing on what I can do still for God, mostly. There's things, yes, that he's now put in my heart that I desire definitely and that I'm working towards because he's also directing me down that path. Meaning I asked for, a correction of, would say, hey, can I just, which way do I go? Which direction will make me best fulfilled? And he's giving me that path. And yeah, and it's like I'm enjoying it. So I'm not putting so much stress on my life. I'm not putting so much stress on the things that I have. Yes, I have my days where I feel drained and I feel like in a negative space. That's why I like having friends who be just like send you a song or a verse or give you scripture that just revives you, It's the way. It's the way for me. That's kind of been helping me a lot. So, guys, let God work in you. Let him show you. Let him direct you. Like, I haven't been stressed out about a lot of things. Like, there's things I want definitely now. Different things from the things I wanted before. But at the place where I am, God is my provider. And if he put these desires into my heart, he'll deliver them. He'll deliver them. These are things that I didn't think that I would ever want, and now I'm finding myself wanting. And also, they're not that far from me getting them because he's putting them right in front of me to want. He's an awesome God, right? He's an awesome God. So I'm gonna go home. Hopefully the electricity is back. And I'm gonna try and work the rest of the day. Got some forms I have to fill out and stuff I have to do, but yeah, and also maybe edit this video. But guys, I don't necessarily have like a specific message. Oh, one other thing that he took away was guilt. He took away my guilt because I did feel guilty, like for wasting some of my parents' resources and some of my parents' time and stuff like that. And I did feel guilty for not accomplishing certain things. He took that all away. Like, I don't feel guilty anymore. Like, it's been 3 years and already in the path that I'm walking, I feel fulfilled. Like, I enjoy working with the Sunday school. I enjoy doing things with the youth, even though they don't go the way I always want them to, but I'm still enjoying it. I enjoy the time that I actually have to sit with my mom and talk to her and get to know her, and for us to get to develop this new relationship. In this last 3 years, honestly, my mom and I have been in the best place that we've ever been. Even my dad and I, although we don't talk, Although we don't talk much. I talk to my dad, guys. It's not like we don't talk. It's just that we're not close because we're the same person. Very much, my dad and I are very much the same. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. My dad and I are the same person. So our relationship is a lot better, definitely. I got a lot better relationship with my parents because before, you look at your parents like this, like they're old, they don't know anything, they didn't struggle for anything. They struggled for a lot. They struggled for a lot. Like they don't understand what you're going through. They just old now and they have stuff and all of that. But trust me, like those relationships with your parents are very, very important. And I didn't realize how important it is. And I'm so grateful that I didn't lose my parents during COVID and I actually get to, chill with them and get to know them even better now. So I appreciate my family more than I did before. Before I was maybe like basing my life on the people that I would make relationships outside of that. Like, yeah, like I wanted to have relationships outside of my family. Like I was prioritizing other people rather than my family. Like if my family was prioritizing a trip, I was like, I don't want to take a trip with you guys. I'll take a trip with my friends. It's the steps that I'm going through. It's not everything. My life is not perfect. I'm not here to say, hey, I have a perfect life. I'm living the life and no. It's just the journey that I'm still walking, the journey that I'm still in, and God is still guiding me in it. And He just wants me to share it so that you can also take it. I like that. Anyway, guys, let me make my way home. I keep saying I'm going home, but I'm taking my own sweet time. I'm taking my own sweet time. Let me just, let's walk home together. I'm pretty sure you can see my house from here. No, 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 you can't. No, you can't. You can see the roof of the house from here. Yep, you can see the roof. Can't see the house. Anyway, guys, be blessed, be beautiful, be loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved by God. Remember that. Remember that God is your first love, and really, honestly, He's the one love that you will need. That will, like, before I didn't know what love was. Now I do.